labor market and your forecast give you scope to cut next month. Is it important that you also need to resolve this issue about whether inflation is in which direction the inflation will move due to tariffs? So next month, for example, if all the other numbers line up, but you do not know which direction inflation will move, would you still cut?
Wow. That's the most detailed forward guidance anyone's ever asked me for, Sophia. I think all I'd say is that we are focusing on what's happening domestically, and the role of the board and interest rates has been to try and slow the growth in demand, because we're at a high level of demand, even though growth in demand isn't very strong. The level is quite high relative to supply, and we're trying to bring that imbalance back together. So that's our focus. And if the data continue to suggest that's happening, then it's possible that we would think about when it might be appropriate to continue easing. I reiterate, though, remember, we didn't go as high as other countries, and so we don't really have as much restrictiveness they had in order to remove. So what's going on with inflation as a result of all the trade tensions and the tariffs and so on, we'll obviously have to keep an eye on that. But there is a difference between, and other countries are emphasising this as well, there is a difference between a level shift in prices due to tariffs and ongoing inflation. And what central banks will be looking for is making sure that if there is a level shift in prices, that it doesn't get ingrained into ongoing inflation. And so that's going to be the important judgment that we'll have to be thinking about, us and others.
Good afternoon, Governor. Chris Kohler from 9 News. You've spoken a bit about tariffs, reciprocal tariffs, and the implications of them on upwards inflation, downwards. I guess I'm looking for your commentary more broadly here. I mean, does the RBA really not have an inkling of whether a trade war would pull up inflation or bring it down? I mean, is this the level of uncertainty that we're in right now that we don't know what to be worried about?
Well, we do. I wouldn't say we don't know what to be worried about. We do know what to be worried about. A trade war with escalating tariffs and reciprocal tariffs is going to slow down growth in world trade. And Australia, as a small open economy, has benefited massively from open trade. So it's not good for us, a world trading system that is fragmenting. That's not good for us. What do we know? We do scenario analysis, as I said. We do know that some countries will be more affected than others, and particularly countries that put on tariffs, they will experience rises in price levels to the extent that production now is going to take place domestically, possibly in less efficient industries, then that will impact supply, so that's potentially going to impact productivity over time. These are longer-run impacts. So there's going to be longer-run impacts of this trade war. The immediate impacts in terms of fragmentation, stopping of trade, increasing in price levels, they'll all be felt. But I think the issue of longer-run, the sorts of impacts this has, is going to be quite dramatic. And for us, we provided, as I said earlier, if China's still doing reasonably well and they lean into the fiscal stimulus, then that will help us in the short run. But ultimately, it just will not be good for the world economy as a whole. And that I suppose, the longer run thing is much more uncertain.